like to pick out just a few to prepare the ground for a more complete discussion later on this morning. If you say that probably Truman Capote would not get away with In Cold Blood now, what then would you say has happened in the intervening decades? What is it that changed?
I suppose people have become readers, and other reporters have become more skeptical about the status of these texts, I think, and more ready to question them. And of course, it's easier now in a digital age to immediately check facts and sources, to communicate with people whose verbatim conversations allegedly appear whose alleged verbatim conversations appear in a book. I think there are fewer hiding places, I think, and also the multiplication of publishing scandals, which are almost comical, kind of from year to year. I think mean that any book with an incredible story is soon going to, its credibility is soon going to be tested. But there are grey areas. I mean, can we a reporter or a writer coming back from Afghanistan or Iraq, it's extremely difficult to check to check all of their facts and sources. But I do think we've become perhaps more testing.
For a war report, I would indeed say that it is very legitimate to be suspicious, and then we're talking about journalism, which is ideally the profession of reporting truth about reality. But for the genre, if it is a genre, narrative non-fiction, there should be room for more liberal, more liberal, more liberality, if you say that, for the imagination. I mean, if Flaubert in L'Éducation sentimentale describes the street barricade and the fighting in the streets in, 1848, 1849. No one, also I believe no one at the time questioned his version of events, because what counted was not the exactitude of his observations, but the role these happenings play in the story. So what has happened between Truman Capote's In Cold Blood and the time of now in literature is it political? Is it moral? Is it legal? That's what I'm looking for.
Well, I wish I could give you a clear answer. I mean, the conservative historian whose letter I quoted from, I mean, the truth is I was pressing him to include more colour and to depart from the strict letter of the documents, because I thought his text needed some more imagination, truthful imagination. He was highly resistant to this, but yes, I agree. I think there is room for. I mean, I love these grey areas.
That's your idea of fraudulent genius.
Yes,
that is okay.
Yes. Well, I'm not saying. I think it has to be carefully controlled. I mean, I think when sheer invention and forgery is one thing. Imaginative embroidery, imaginative colour is another. And I think one can take risks, enjoyable risks,
We will come back to this later on. There's one more issue which I would like to raise out of what you have told us before I move over to the second speaker. The whole concept of fiction and non-fiction. We are already discussing these two words as if they indicate literary genres, as if they have a meaning with regard to the text they refer to. I've always regarded fiction and non-fiction as a sort of supermarket terms, where you have the fiction left and the non-fiction right. Likewise, you have food and non-food. But isn't that a matter for booksellers and retailers? And should the real writer not be the literary writer? I mean, should he or she not be above such a commercial distinction, or is it something else than a commercial distinction?
Yes, I think I think you're right. I think the categories can be rigid and overly rigid and artificial, but there is a certain epistemological value in trying to make a distinction between what is a pure work of the imagination and what is purporting to be a falsifiable narrative of actual events. I mean, I think certainly perhaps these distinctions are more enforceable in the Anglo-Saxon publishing, or the in my case, Anglo-American publishing world. But yeah, I mean, I think the writer can survey the whole thing.